everybody. It's Matt and Jennifer Lucas back for another Zor Zoom edition. As we get started here, you're definitely going to want to learn more about this brand, so be sure to click the link below. We'll check to make sure your market is still available and then talk through some next steps.
So we have Bod Envy and Candace representing Bod Envy today, and a few teasers. So this is in the wellness space, the personalized wellness space. The franchisor does all the sales, all the marketing, all the initial consultations. But the big point to this is that it will validate profitability in the first month. And their new FDD that's coming out will show a net of 200,000 in the first 10 months. So I'll leave it to you, Candace. Tell us.
That certainly has to get your attention. So Candace, jump in here and talk to us a little bit.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer and Matt, for having me. Bod Envy, a lot of people are like, what the heck is this brand? And they don't really understand it. So I'm going to give you an elevator pitch for it, okay? The best way I describe Bod Envy is we are going in there and we are helping people change the way that they look on the outside and feel on the inside. So we have an extreme transformation program. And that extreme transformation program focuses both on subcutaneous fat, which is that annoying pinchable fat, and then visceral fat, which is the fat that's by your organs that can cause diabetes, high cholesterol, heart issues, having you to get knee replacements because you've gained too much weight, that type of thing. And what we do is we go in there and we get the clients working with the dietitian so that they learn what to eat, how much to eat, when to eat it. We have meal providing companies that can actually deliver to the client's home. We will give them weight loss shots if they need it, if their BMI is over 30. And then I like to tell you, we don't put you on that to lose weight. We do it to control appetite. We don't want you to feel like you're losing weight off of the weight loss shots. And then we go in there with machines and work on the subcutaneous fat. So Cool Sculpting is going to permanently freeze and remove those fat cells. They will never grow back in that area. And then we're going to go in there and we're going to tighten the skin with Cool Wave. It helps replenish collagen. And then our Cool Tone machine is equivalent, 30 minutes is equivalent to 30 or 20,000 sit-ups. So we're going to go in there and kind of, I like to call it giving the mommy makeover. However, we do have a lot of guys that come in. Our clients are seeing anywhere between 40 to 70 pounds in our extreme transformation program, which is 17 weeks long. So wow. Really good results. But then they can also come in and buy like a la carte. So they don't have to do that extreme transformation program. If somebody just has like a little stubborn area, we can go in there and tweak that. We also have some subscription-based models to go in there to help with like the weight loss or the muscle toning and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different options for clients.
I would love to have 20,000 sit-ups in the matter of 30 minutes. Is that what you said?
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt. So you don't actually feel like you just left the gym afterwards.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All of it.
So, so far everything sounds amazing. So talk to us a little bit about how does a franchise owner get customers in the door?
Yeah. That's probably my favorite part about Bod Envy. I actually really tell people we are a marketing brand that just happens to do body contouring. And why I say that is our founder, Jim, he comes from a very impressive background in marketing. He was the one that kind of created, 1-800 numbers that then linked to a whole bunch of different companies to help generate leads. So he really knows the marketing strategies. And we have a marketing team that is going to go out there and place Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all sorts of different meta type posts. The client is then going to see that. They're going to click the link, answer 10 questions, and click submit. Within 3 to 5 minutes during normal business hours, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, our call center is going to call them and do an over-the-phone consultation. That over-the-phone consultation lasts about 25 to 35 minutes. And then we are going to actually get them scheduled for an in-person consultation. So the only thing the franchisee has to worry about is once that customer comes in, closing them. And of course, the franchisors are going to help in teaching the techniques to do that. They don't have to go out and meet with any doctors. They don't have to go to any events, wedding events. Like none of our locations do any outreach in regards to marketing. Corporate brings 100% of the customers into the facility.
That is
That's
awesome.
awesome. So is there a need that eliminates the need for as many employees, correct?
Absolutely. Very, very minimal staffing. This is, can definitely be executive model. That's what most of our franchisees are doing to date. So they would hire a manager. They would have 2 salespeople that also go through our dietitian certificate. And then they'll have 2 techs. And those techs can actually treat multiple people at one time because it's the machines that's actually doing the work. So they're just going in, connecting them, pushing the start button, and then going to the next room, then going back and checking on somebody. So they can work on, 3 customers at one time, which is why it's such minimal staffing.
That's awesome. And then what about licensing requirements for these procedures?
Yeah, so there's different licensing requirements depending on the state. Once a franchisee, potential franchisee is interested, Bod Envy will actually spend the dollars with the attorney to figure out your state requirements.
Okay.
We don't require the franchisee to do their due diligence. Bod Envy is all about making sure that they support the franchisee. And so we'll be able to help with that. Honestly, it's very minimal in most states. I kind of like to say it's like a Zoom doctor when you're sick and you don't want to get out of bed. How you call them and they kind of help you, give you the medicine. The doctors for the vast majority of the states are going to work the same way, where you're going to use them when you need to order your GLP-1s. They're going to go in there and look at some reporting to make sure that the client's getting proper treatment, but they don't necessarily need to be on the staff in most markets. However, if they do, our franchisee in New Jersey, he actually has to have a medical director on staff at all times. That medical director is $50 an hour. And that happens to be the location, Jen, that you were talking about that did $200,000 the first 2 months in net. So it still validates incredibly well, even if you have to have that medical director.
Oh, that's good to know. So on that note, as far as numbers go, I know you guys are a newer brand, and so you're still making adjustments to where you want to be located and types of equipment, but I've heard that the investment is going to be lower on the new FDD as well.
Yes, I am really excited about that. Our brand is on the higher end because it's health and wellness. And as women know, everything's expensive when it's having to do with the way we look, right? So, but one of the things that the founders really wanted to work on was getting this at a reasonable price, not only for the franchisees, but also so we can gather more clients that can be able to afford this. And so what we started really realizing is we don't have to be in brick and mortar because we're doing 100% of the lead generation, getting the customers to come in because they already have an appointment. And so now we're going to start going out into medical centers. And those medical centers already have the individual treatment rooms. You don't have to have as large a signage. You don't have to do architectural plans or permits or take 12 months to open up. So we're being able to go into those facilities and open in 3 to 4 months. And the cost of the build out has dramatically decreased. Plus, we've worked with our machine company, which one of them is Allergen, the biggest manufacturer for our machines. And because we've had so many franchisees sign on over the course of the last 7 months, we're able to go in there and get much better pricing. And we're passing that down to the franchisee, which has also dramatically decreased that.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
And so you said from signing a franchise agreement from launching, you're thinking now with these medical spaces, it'll be somewhere in the 3 to 4 month range.
I once you find the location,
Okay.
as much as I say it, finding a location is still the hardest part.
It is.
Right. But once you find that location, we can absolutely get you open in 3 to 4 months.
That's awesome. That's quick.
Yeah, very quick. And we work with I like to say we're kind of turnkey to opening. We work with a third-party company that's going to help find the location, do the lease negotiations. If there is architectural plans because you decide to go brick and mortar, we'll work with that. We'll work with permitting. We'll work with hiring the GCs and overseeing all of the contractors, ordering all of the FF&E, setting the store up. So really, really a good support there for the franchisee when they're kind of getting open and operating and not really knowing what to do there.
So talk to us a little bit about the investment range. Where are you kind of seeing it come through?
Yeah, so if you go medical center, you're going to be in the low 400s. And that's going to give you 3 months of working capital. Again, all of our locations have to date, knock on wood, been cash flow positive month one. So chances of you actually having to even go into that working capital is very slim, but I can't guarantee it. And then on the high scale, you know, if you decide that you want brick and mortar, you want to be in a fancy, you know, shopping center, then you're going to be in probably the low to mid 500s.
Okay.
Okay, so how are most people buying more than one location?
All of them. So I'll give you a perfect story. Our franchisee in Summit, New Jersey, he originally signed on for one territory. His first month open, and it is in the 2024 FDD. He actually was cash flow positive quite a lot. $87,000 in his first 2.5 months was his adjusted net income. And he said, okay, I do not want anybody else buying this. So he bought the entire state of New Jersey.
Wow.
He now has
Nice.
that.
Okay.
All of my other franchisees, you know, we have Denver, we have California, we have Dallas, we have Tampa, Florida, we have Columbus, Ohio. We have a bunch going on right now. They've all bought a minimum of 2. My Dallas guy, he bought 6. So kind of just a spread throughout that area.
So for all of our candidates in New Jersey, how far can you be from your location if you want to operate or open and operate?
Yeah, so if you want to be owner operator, you would go like right outside into like Pennsylvania. We can get you pretty close, you know, or the Connecticut. If you don't want to be owner operator, let's go to Arizona. Let's go to California. Like we're pretty open on that. We don't require that they live in their market. What we do require is that they help build the culture of it as it's opening. But then once you get that manager in place and they're, you know, rocking and rolling, go back home, enjoy where you live and go there for a vacation.
Awesome. And so you mentioned California. Are you registered in California yet?
So we just signed a franchisee in San Diego, California. We did it under the exemption. So if the franchisee has a certain net worth, not including his house or his cars, then we can move forward in California with them. And then we are in the process of refiling for the 2025 FDD there as well.
Perfect.
How many are open at the moment?
So we have 6 that are open right now. We have 4 that are under construction. And then we have a bunch that are in territory agreements.
Very cool.
We just had our Detroit, Michigan franchisee open up about 10 days ago. And he is on a very good track. The validation will be incredibly amazing on that one.
That's awesome. So what's the avatar of an owner look like? I mean, who are you going after?
You know, I would say people that understand marketing. And the reasoning why I say that is you got to spend money to make money, right? At the beginning of our conversation, I said we're a marketing brand that just happens to do body contouring, but the marketing comes with an expense. So people that really understand that is key. The other thing that I would say is people that have compassion and want to make people feel good, right? This is a brand that no matter who's walking in our door, they don't feel good about themselves for some reason, whether it's physically, emotionally, you know, mentally. And we want to go in there and help them not only look better, but feel better. And they need to have the compassion for that. Oddly enough, people that are engineers, IT, that type of industry is kind of what is coming to us, but it's not like that's what we're out there looking for.
So let's touch on the marketing piece. What are you looking for your new franchise owners to spend those first few months?
Yeah, so we recommend the first month about $20,000. And then in the FDD, it says that you have to spend a minimum of $10,000 each month thereafter.
Okay.
What I would tell you is the more you spend, the more leads, the more deals.
Sure.
So what's validating really well is about $20,000 a month.
Okay.
But the minimum requirement per the FDD is 10.
And then what's the average ticket? I know there's all different kinds of services, so that might be hard.
Yep. $5,400 is our average ticket. You know, the extreme transformation program, that's like $14,000. But then you're going to have some people come in and buy just protein powder, and that's $25.
Okay.
So it really makes it so our average ticket's $5,400.
So on that extreme program, that's $14,000. Are people getting covered by insurance? Do you have financing options? How does that
Yeah,
work?
so I wish that insurance would cover it, but they classify it as cosmetic, even though we're taking people off of insulin and making it so that they don't have to have heart surgery anymore, right? But they don't. So we work with 6 different credit providers, and we can get them approved in as fast as 60 seconds. So when
Wow.
they come into the facility and go through the consultation, we will ask them if they want any financing help, and then we can go through there. And as the franchisee, you get paid right up front. You're not on a monthly pay plan with them. It's through the credit company. We even just brought on a new credit company that oddly enough can even work with somebody that's in active bankruptcy. So
What?
we're making it so we are not turning any customers away whatsoever.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, so we've covered a lot and a lot of really amazing things about Bod Envy. Is there something we're leaving out?
I would say when you look at brands, one of the most important thing is the culture and who you're working with. Jim and Helena are the founders. They have a true passion and just a vibe to them. They want to help their franchisees be successful. They look at their franchisees not as franchisees, but as business partners. They want to collaborate and they want you to try new things and strategize. So if you're a potential franchisee that was really wanting to do a brand that had Botox, but you can't find one, Bod Envy's open to you doing that in their location and trying it out. So they're not one that's just like, this is the way it is and it's the way it's going to be. As long as it makes sense and we stay in the non-invasive, Jim and Helena are very open to making it make the most sense for the market that you're looking at.
That's
So I would
nice.
leave you with
No, I
that.
think I love that though. That's, trying to continue to build and grow the brand in multiple ways. I think that's fantastic.
Yep. So
Well, I don't know. I feel like we covered everything that's important. I think you're crazy if somebody doesn't want to do this. Maybe we should open one.
Oh, here we go again.
I'll tell you, I
So,
actually have done the treatments. I was skeptical, right? Like, can you really freeze fat off? Right. And so I was like, I'm going to live it. I'm going to feel it. I want to see what it's like. And I did 3 months, 3 sessions. And in that time period, and it takes you a while to see full results, about 6 months. So I'm only a few months in, but I've already lost 2 pant sizes. So
Wow.
it definitely works. A lot of people come and are a little skeptical, but it definitely works. And there's a lot of backing in and a lot of results that show for it.
That's amazing.
it
Yeah,
really is.
I definitely think we should do one.
Yeah, I knew this was coming. Whenever we booked this, I was like, oh, I know, here it comes. So,
I love
all
it.
right. If you're interested in learning more and want to know if your market is still available, click the link below or text me at 270-215-2844. We'll get with Candace and start talking through some next steps.
Thank you, Candace, as always.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Have a good day.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Listen, click the links below. We're here to help if you have any questions. We're not going to bug you. We're not crazy. We're very friendly people, and we just want to help.
Well, at least one of us are.
Hey, we're here to help.